The most engaging, impactful, informative, and entertaining talk show ever. Get ready to hear the voices of many local, state, and national artists, musicians, comedians, pastors, athletes, and politicians. It's time for South Florida Live with Jeffrey Brown. The most engaging, impactful, informative, and entertaining talk show ever. Get ready to hear the voices of many local, state, and national artists, musicians, comedians, pastors, athletes, and politicians. It's time for South Florida Live with Jeffrey Brown.
Well, good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the South Florida Live Podcast. Listen, I'm your host, Jeffrey Brown, and as we always say, and we start off, this is the day that the Lord has made. We shall, we will, we must rejoice and be glad in it. In spite of everything that we're facing, we still have to rejoice and be thankful that we were able to see another day and we made it. If you survived the day, just tell yourself, I'm a survivor. And once again, and we know that everything is going to be all right. It got to be all right. It will be all right. We got to believe it. Hey, come on. Let's go. Let's do this. Join me tonight. It's going to be popping. This is Pop-Up Tuesday night. And it's an evening with the brothers. Yes, we'll maximize the moment. We're going to maximize the moment into rebuilding our community. Hey, it's a talk. It's a conversation with my brother. We haven't seen him in a while, but my brother has been busy. He's been on the road. Listen, my brother, Dr. J.R. Dicklin, will be joining us on this evening. Two handsome young men. Doc made me look good, though. Yeah, so join us, guys. Join us. Come on in. Hey, would you do me a favor? Tell somebody. Right here, right? Everything
Gotta be my background singer
will be all right. Hey, so join me. Come on in. Everyone that's viewing, those that are viewing by Facebook, do me a favor. Would you please do me a favor? Go ahead and like and share for me. Like and share. And after you like and share, please tag 10 people. Let them know the South Florida Live Podcast is on. And it's an evening with the brothers. You don't want to miss this episode. It's going to be informative. It's going to be powerful. And it's going to be engaging. So you want to be a part of it on this evening. So do me a favor, please. Tag a few people. Let them know that we are live on this Tuesday. This is Talking Tuesday. Those that are viewing by YouTube, go ahead and like and share. If you're first time viewing us by YouTube, go ahead and like hit the subscribe button. If it's your first time, hit that subscribe button. Once you do that, hit the notification, the little bell. You'll see a little bell. Click on that bell and click on all. And that way you'll be notified every time we go live. Please do that for me, please. But it's going to be all right. All right, come on, join us. Everything's gonna be all right. It feels like you don't want me. Everything's gonna be all right. All right. Hey, good evening to those that are tuning in Once again, I always say, if I say good evening to you, please say good evening back. Let me know that you're there and you're with me and you can hear us. Everything is good. The signal is good. Sound is good. Everything is working well. Let us know. Give us some hearts. Give us some love on tonight. Do that for me. Listen, I'm going to give you 30 seconds. We're going to roll with it because my brother has some stuff to share with us on tonight, and I'm going to give him all the time that he needs on tonight. All right, come on, guys. Let's come on in. 20 seconds. $15. All right, come on, guys. Come on in. Come on in. Thank you for those that's joining us. Good evening to you. For those that's joining us, good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. All right, thank you for those that's joining, that's tuning in. We're going to get started in 2, about 3 seconds. 2, 1. Everything's going to be all right. Everything's going to be all right. That was our brother, our friend, Mr. PJ Morton himself. Everything's going to be all right. Hey, listen, I'm ready. I got my brother here. Once again, it's been a while. It's been a minute. But once again, like I said, he has been on the road. He's been very busy, very busy. So there's something special that's coming up, and we're going to talk about some things first, and then we're going to let you in on some secrets. There's an announcement to be made on tonight, and I'm going to help my brother do it on tonight, if you will. Hey, y'all know him. He's no stranger here. The one and only. The doctor is in the house. The Dr. J.R. Thicklin is in the house. He's with his brother on tonight. Hey, bruh, good evening.
Good evening, my brother. It is so good to be back with you all, man, your audience here. I miss you guys, but as you said, it's been extremely busy over the last couple of months, and it's still busy even now. And but it's good to be with you. I'm even with you now live from Atlanta. I'm here in Atlanta right now on the road. But listen, I'm always honored to be with you on this great platform.
Yes, and it's always an honor to have you, brother. Always an honor to have you on with me on the South Florida Live podcast. It's always an honor because when you come on, you make us smarter. You help us out. You brighten the day. You illuminate our mind, man, to thinking. So it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. It's my honor to do this. And when you reached out to me, once you reach out to me, it's an easy yes if it's possible. So that's how we work. So tonight, y'all listen. Tonight it's an evening it's an evening with the brothers tonight. It's an evening with the brothers, me and my brothers. I told y'all some handsome guys right there, but Doc making me look good right there. He's making me look good. So we're gonna talk a little bit. We're gonna talk a little bit, Doc, about maximize the moment into rebuilding our communities. There are some things that's been on your heart that you want to share with us on tonight, and we're just gonna have an engaging conversation. Hopefully, those that are viewing, those that are listening, will be blessed by it and walk away with with something in their heart and some ideas, and we change somebody's life, somebody's mindset. So what we were talking about, what we want to get into is basically kind of if I'm right, we're targeting our brothers. It's time for our brothers to come to get together. We kind of spread it out. So I'm gonna ask you this question. Since we want to deal with our brothers, we're talking to the brothers tonight. Whoever, I know some ladies are on, but we are talking to the brothers tonight. I want to ask you this: the importance of men being in this moment. I know we said we're maximizing the moment. We're maximizing the moment to rebuild our community. How important is it for our men to help us and maximize this moment where we at right now?
It's vitally important. It is so vitally important to the fact that literally I like to think of tonight as being a summons, a call, a clarion call to all the brothers, all the brethren out there to understand the fact that it is our moment to maximize. It is our moment to redefine the narrative that sometimes so negatively depict who we are. But it's the moment that we as men, that we begin to pick ourselves up, recognizing the fact that we have been given a role in society, a role in life, a role to be able to play. And when we talk about maximizing our moment, we want to be intentional about what we do. If our communities are going to be safe, if our communities are going to be strong, if our communities are going to thrive, it means that we as brethren must maximize this moment. We must understand the power of our synergizing, of being galvanized together, of being collectively coming together, bringing our very best to the table. And I mean that means that we can't spend a lot of time listening to the negative narrative about who we are. We have to arrive at the place that we believe in who we've been created to be. Notice what I said, what we've been created to be. It doesn't mean that we're all walking in it and that we're all walking in it at the same time. But this is an hour and a moment that is right before us, a very defining moment in history, that as we as men could understand the fact that when we define ourselves not based upon people's statistics and people's data and people's negative experience, but we must define ourselves from a standpoint of, first of all, who are we created to be? Number one. Number two, understanding the assignment that we really have here on the earth. And that assignment is not measured necessarily inside of this performance-based type of a classification.
Right.
So often, men are held to a different standard. Men are held to the standard that we sometimes believe that if we don't do things perfect, or we're not exactly perfect on everything, we lose heart and we start to scatter. We start to, if you would, withdraw from really what the task is at hand. But this is the hour that I believe that as brethren, we look at who we are and not just what we are. We look at what we're called to be and called to do, and not just trying to fit somebody else's narrative of who we are. And what does that mean? That means that we understand the importance of being our brother's keeper.
Right.
We understand what it means to be iron sharpening iron. Because check this out. Any one of us and every one of us at one point or another will find ourselves on an end that is not so favorable. We don't have 100% good days every day, because it would defy logic. Everything in life is seasonal. It's cyclical.
Right.
We're going to go through some stuff.
Right.
But it's in those times is where we as men have to help bear one another up. Let's not rejoice in the fact that a brother is struggling. Let's not rejoice in the fact that a brother has missed the mark. Let's not rejoice in the fact that a brother is down on his luck. But that's the time, brother, that we maximize our effort and we lift up one another. We speak life to each other.
Yeah, because I've seen some things out there on the social media, on the podcast and whatnot. And now there are some brothers out there that's speaking, but what I'm hearing is so divided in where we are. It's like maybe it's me of some of the things that I've seen, but it's like we're not taking this moment, like you said, this moment of coming together and having a better understanding. I've seen the barbershops and I've seen those talks and what's going on, but it's so, to me, I see more negative than positive. More, it's not enough, it's not a lot uplifting. It's like, okay, I know better, I know more than you. I got the answer, you don't. But I say, okay, take what you got and take what I may have or someone else may have, and we bring it together and mush it together and work it out, and then it become unified. Not that I have to be the right one all the time, but that's what I'm seeing. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm seeing something different. I don't know if that's what you've seen, but on the social media side, I'm seeing that still we are divided. So talk to my brothers, and how can we come together, get together, and take what Dr. Thicklin have to present, take what I have to present, or take from another brother that have to be, and we bring it together and make it unified.
You don't have it wrong at all. What you're seeing, you're looking at right as what is happening. We could do the right thing, but with the wrong perspective, it did not turn out the way that it needs to. And so what you're saying is this, is that basically it's me, and what we have to understand is this. It's not a matter of me having one up on you or you having one up on me. It's a matter of starting with respecting and valuing what you bring to the table. Now, what you may feel that what you bring to the table is more important than what I bring to the table. And that may go along with the thinking. But the thing that we need to understand, it doesn't mean that you bring in more. It simply means that you're bringing something different, that you're bringing a different proportion of what is there. But understand, even from a biblical standpoint, every joint fitly joined together, supplying the other. That means that everybody got a supply that they had. There are things that the brother who may be hard on his luck right now, who may be going through some things, there are some things that brother brings to the table simply by his lived experience, simply by the things that he's facing. That doesn't mean that he doesn't have a place at the table to contribute inside of the conversation. What we as all brothers must understand is this: value our brothers, value one another. Let us not think of ourselves more highly than what we ought to. And the fact that when I respect my brother, when I recognize that he brings something to the table, that means that whatever I do, and this should be our collective thinking, whatever we do, brother, we must be intentional about it, and we must do it with good intent, not for attention. When we do it for attention, we put the light on us.
Say that again. That was good. Say that again.
Yeah, absolutely. No, but when we do things, whatever it is that we're commissioned to do, brother, we must do it with good intent, good intentions, not for attention. Because when we do it for attention, we shine the spotlight on ourselves. We want to lift ourselves up. The reality is, let me say something to you. Don't get it twisted. I don't care what alphabet come before your name or after your name. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're smarter in everything than anyone else.
Right.
It just simply means the fact that there may be a degree of concentration that you have experience in. But brother, don't you minimize. Dare not minimize that lived experience. Dare not minimize the wisdom that brother has learned from his experience. That's why, listen, I don't care if a brother's been incarcerated. I don't care if he's been in prison. I don't care. Right. That brother brings something valuable to society. And if they didn't, it wouldn't be such a collective effort systematically to structurally prevent him from coming back to be a contributor to society. Right. And that's why we understand that there are certain lived experiences, brother, that is valuable. And let me give some color to it. I'm right here in Atlanta right now. Got here yesterday. I am part of a national fatherhood initiative. There are brothers and sisters from all over the country that is here. Major fatherhood, responsible fatherhood program, major programs going on. one of the things that blew my mind this morning, that they had a panel presentation with these brothers, Hispanic and Black brothers. All these brothers here, once upon a time, was clients inside of the program trying to get their lives together as father. Many of them testified they was mean, had no relationship with the children. They was mad, they was angry. They were in toxic relationship. They were their own worst enemy. But they talked about when they became part of these programs, how those programs helped change their lives around. But this is part that blew me away. Those particular programs then decide to say, okay, so now that we've given them the tools, now that we've educated them, let's take them from being simply, watch this, clients, to now let's put them, watch this, as practitioners, because we've trained them, and now we're going to employ them full time.
Mm-hmm.
They got money to employ these brothers full time, give them a whole year to say, look, full time, and what we're going to do, we're going to continue to add to you. You're going to travel nationally with us. You're going to share your experience. You're going to share the thing you learned. And brother, I sat there and I'm watching brothers, man, that by their own story is absolutely tremendous. And I'm watching these brothers speak with clarity and with not only great articulation, but with great confidence, but from their own experience say, look, man, if you had saw me 3 years ago, if you known me back then, brothers talking about, from what I've learned, I'm now able to be a greater father to my daughter, to my son. You know, I could admit where I was wrong. I could admit I was in a mind space at a time that I didn't care, and I was self-destructing. You see what I'm saying? If we're going to maximize the moment, brothers, men have to learn to be also empathetic and have compassion even with one another.
Yeah, that part you're so spot on, Doc. Because I was just getting ready to say, because there's some that I mean, I love that, because that support system, we have it, we can do it, but sometimes we shy away from it because we just, I don't know if it's manly, that macho thing, or whatever, or whatever we got going on, but we have the tendency of not wanting to come together or show our emotions or show where we are. You know what I'm saying? Show where the place where we are. Sisters don't have that problem.
Right.
They don't have that problem. I said that before, way back. I've said it many times before. Sisters don't have that problem. They have an issue. They're going to find another sister, and now the sister's going to lift them up and help them up and help them. That's why what you said about them taking those guys, man, and taking them through that program, and then after the program, hey, we're not going to even just put you in this program. Now we're gonna give you a job. We're gonna show you how to work. We're gonna teach you that part. That way, you can be able to reach out to somebody who you know. And can you just imagine? It just hit me. Can you imagine, Doc, if and I talked about it when I was doing discipleship, that's just like, those are mentors that's creating more mentors.
Absolutely.
To go out and get more and teach them to be mentored. You can imagine if that spread it, just that spread it all over this country, nationally, just global, where we'll be, how strong the men would be. Would we be back in that area? Not saying that, not trying. I'm not one trying to knock women and take over whatever like that. I ain't that dude, but be back in our rightful state as the man.
Oh man, you hit it on the head. Look, you used all the right word. You know what you said? You said, man, this is discipleship, and that's exactly right. So let's go a little further, because what we see here is, here's an organization, for all intents and purposes, it's a secular organization, but what I understood is that some of their programs were being ran through churches and those things too. But what we're seeing is a model of discipleship. They've gone back. What did they do? They strengthened their brethren. They helped equip those brethren. And then not only did they help equip them, but they supported them. One of the common thread with each one of those brothers, 6 of those brothers, who gave a testimony today as they was on a panel, it said, the greatest joy I get is going back helping brothers and men that are in the same situation that I was in, the brother who was addicted, the brother who was angry and mad, the brother who was irresponsible. So now these brothers have been strengthened. They've gone out to help other brothers. Watch this. Not looking for a handout, but simply a hand up. And that's what happened. And so what I'm saying, that oftentimes in our community, too often, brethren, we become successful on our own, and we do so to look down and say, hey, I'm on top. But we don't think about the power of reaching back, mentoring, disciple others. We don't understand how far that spread. Could you imagine looking at the map? One of the brothers there that just absolutely impressed me, he told the audience, he said, listen, he talked about his children that he had. And he said, the 8-year-old is the only one that he has actually been in their lives this early on. He said, here's the thing. He said, I was so messed up that literally, even when I was first allowed into my daughter's life, the mom wouldn't trust me to have her more than 2 hours. He said, but because of the program and where I've come, he said, I just spent here last month a whole 7 days with my daughter at Disney World in Florida. Man, the place went crazy. Why? Wow. Because what happened was he had a support system that he did the work. He had people that stood with him, and he began to prove to himself and ultimately to those he was in charge of and those that looked at him that he could be transformed and changed. What I'm saying to brothers is this, is that the real measure of who we are is not for us to sit back and talk about how much money we have or how successful we are in of ourselves. I love this saying here. This quote here by Winston Churchill is one that I live by. He said, we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give.
Right. Wow.
And that is something that must be application. I make a living by what I get, but I make a life by what I give. And what I give is time. I give energy. I give attention to. Give a brother a listening ear. Don't be so quick to judge him. Man, and be transparent enough to admit, hey, man, I've gone through that. Bro, I struggled there too. But be that light to them that they know that, hey, man, you can come out of it because I have. Be that light there. What you said is so empowering, because if we did that, if every brother went to multiply that, if every brother was intentional about that, could you imagine the transformation that could happen? And what are you saying? I know you say, you're not talking about returning to dominance, but you're saying returning to our rightful place, to our rightful place of leadership, our rightful place of authority, our rightful place. I promise you that most of the sisters, they ain't tripping out because they want to be in charge. Many of them have become addicted because they've had to be in charge.
Yeah.
They've had to be. And so we have not proven to them over any period of time that we're going to be consistent. So it's hard for them to let go of that reign. But I'm telling you, with the right support, brother, when we say, am I my brother's keeper? It'll look different because we will be. We will sharpen one another. So we can almost vouch for my brother and say, no, we walking with him. He's going to be all right. Yeah. But will we take that time to do so? Or is it only about me, myself?
That part. So you're there. So stay right there, because I'm gonna ask you this one. So we're there, and we're trying to get brothers in this vein, in this light, to see where we're trying to head. So tell me this, moving forward, how can we turn our barriers to bridges? How can we turn our barriers, those barriers that the brothers are facing, how can we turn them to bridges?
You know what? Every time I look at this, I always see a scriptural reference of that. And that means this: we turn our barriers to bridges by, number one, identifying our barriers, but not keep rehearsing our barriers. Let me give you a different. We can look at the fact, because I hear this all the time. Brothers will say, well, man, hey, dog, man, my dad wasn't in my life. I grew up without my dad and everything like that. Or I grew up in a very toxic home. And they'll keep rehearsing what have happened to them. They keep rehearsing what have happened to them without any meaningful solution or direction. And so what happened in the ears of others, you know what it sounds like? That he's rehearsing an excuse. He's rehearsing an excuse. And in cases, he may be rehearsing an excuse. But how do we remove that barrier? Because we begin to have conversation with that brother, and we get him to understand that his past doesn't have to define him. Your past, yes, I want you to understand, your past should become an explanation of how you got here, not an excuse for you to stay here. And so you make it part of what's in your rearview mirror, not what's in front of you, because your past doesn't have to define you. You can start again. And if you're willing to start again, and you're willing to do the things, put in the work. What is the work? The work means that I must be intentional about being intentional. I must be intentional about being consistent. But we must understand we have to get started. We don't have to be great to get started, but God knows we have to get started to be great.
Right. I just got a book. I just got a book by this guy I met. Matter of fact, he's Reverend Al Sharpton's son-in-law, Marcus Bright. You probably know, you should know Marcus Bright. Marcus just wrote a book, man, and I started reading it. It's called Brighter Levers to a Brighter Future. And it says going higher in our purpose and building infrastructure of opportunities for the next generation. But in his book, he starts talking about bridges.
Yeah.
In his book, and he's talking about the level of bridges, like the belief bridge, the bridge levels. And that he's talking your thinking cross the belief threshold. The stain of hope, the transition to faith, living in faith, the system bridge level, putting a process in place to develop your individual talent. So I thought about what you were saying, and it hit me. That's something it's similar to what you're saying for where we should be when we're talking about changing these barriers into bridges. It starts there.
It does. Notice everything, it starts with this. Everything starts with a belief. Whether it's salvation, all of it starts with a belief, right? Your belief system. Even scripturally, the word says all things are possible to them that what? Believe, right? If thou can believe, thou shalt see. Watch this. Faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of God, right? Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And so what he's describing there, and he terms it as bridges, are these different levels that you're going. It starts with your belief system. First of all, that's the reason why I say that you can't keep rehearsing your past. You can't keep rehearsing your past and using that as an excuse. Because notice this, whatever we nurture, that's what grows. If we nurture our pain, our anguish, if we nurture the negativity that we've experienced, if we continue to rehearse that, that's what grows in our mind. Notice what I said, growth. When we think about growth, watch this. When we normally think about growth, we think about growth as being a point of living and flourishing. But let me say something to you. Cancer grows. It ain't good. So we have to understand that what we nurture, whatever we nurture, that's what grows. And so we have to change our belief system. We have to change it so that now what was once a barrier becomes a bridge. And that next step is this, is that now that I've come into a different understanding, I must elevate it. And I must continuously feed my mind. I must continuously work on myself in order for me to do what? To sustain where I've gone. Then if I'm going to go to that next level, bro, I can change my environment. I can change my environment by starting with simply the things I do. The secret to one's success or failure can be found in their daily routine.
Right. Because I skipped over it's all this and he said in chapter 4, he talks about the execution bridge level. And the execution level 1 is doing enough to get the job done. 2 is performing at a higher level in the context of elevation states. 3, winning as a underdog or after previous defeats. you just hit that. Consistently performing at a optimum level in one's purpose despite enormous odds and challenges. But I believe, like someone like you, that's that. But and you share that what I just read. You do that every day. You do that all the time.
Every day. Every day.
You that's what you're doing. You are depositing these levels, execution levels in everybody that you come by. Here we go again. If I'm doing it, you doing it, some other brothers doing it, what that looks like.
You know, it's called galvanization when we galvanize. You know, there are so many great things that our ancestors said, even coming from Africa and different things. African proverbs speaks to so much. You know, there's one African proverb that says this, it says many hands make the load lighter. Yeah. And what that means inside of it, now let me give you a scripture here's a scripture that I think that parallels that. And the scripture that parallels that is the fact that when we start talking about strengthening our brother, if our brother is overtaken, we brothers, we come and strengthen one another. Let's not be so quick to give up on one another. Man, that Negro don't want that. That brother boy, no. The brother may have not reached a place yet of that first bridge where his belief system is changed. Sometime, and sisters that are listening, they need to hear this as well. Yeah. Your words have life. The words that we speak, they are spirit and life. Yes. You can continue to speak death to a man who is struggling, and all you're doing is adding death to it. You're killing. He already know that he's not on par. He already knows that. But if you keep rehearsing that in his ear, what you're basically saying is that you always and you never. Be very careful of those terminology. When you go to those extremes, well, you always, or you ain't gonna never be. You don't say that you shouldn't say that to a child, and God knows that you should never say that to a grown man. You have to speak life. What do I mean? This is not semantics. I'm not just saying semantics, but you speaking death to someone who's already going through, it's like saying, I'm going to teach him a lesson. You're not going to teach him a lesson by being negative. You don't teach a man how to swim by showing him another man drowning. That's not the lesson. You do so by being intentional inside of what you say, what you're doing. And so what am I saying? I'm saying, brethren, this thing have to be intentional, and every one of us have to have some ownership inside of it. Have some ownership inside of it. You make up in your mind today, help me see the opportunities to be able to be a blessing to my brother. Help me to speak life. Help me to be my brother's keeper. Help me to help him. Sometimes you have to believe in people and have enough faith for people until they can get faith for themselves.
Right.
You must believe in them until they can believe in themselves. I was recently at a funeral that I was there officiating a funeral. And one of the things that was amazing to me, when there was a sister that spoke to how the person who was the deceased had impacted her life. She said, this woman met me when I had just got out of prison. Mm. This woman met me when I was addicted on drugs. This woman met me when I was messed up. This woman met me at my lowest, and she never gave up on me. Matter of fact, she told me, I'm going to love on you and believe in you until you're able to love yourself and believe in yourself. And what did this sister testify of? She said, I want you to know that not only did she do so, she said, I gave my life to God as a result of this woman's belief and life in me. But I want you to know that her investment was good, because I went on from being that person who was strung out on drugs, did every type of thing that I could do. And I went on not only to go to school, go to college. I just got my master's degree. I am now doing what she did for me to others. Brother and sister, it is meant to be replicated. It's meant to be cyclical. This is not the time for you to say, I have reached my pinnacle. I'm done. I got mine. You get yours. No. As the brother said in the book, we must always be mindful of the next generation.
Next generation.
We got to pay it forward. So your investment in another brother's life may be impacting his children and his grandchildren. And guess what? You just never know when his children and grandchildren may be intersecting with your children and grandchildren. And so that's what I mean about, listen here, you got to understand the impact, what happens when we get together and maximize. And I just want to be a little streamlined, intentional here. This got to happen. And it needs to happen, and it needs to be replicated. And let me say this, not in silos, but replicated. Not because I'm trying to outdo you or trying to shine on you. No. Even in friendly competition, it needs to be friendly enough to appreciate and respect the others.
Right.
I don't know about there, but the other day we started school here in Palm Beach County. And even before I flew out yesterday morning, I was at a elementary school. And what was interesting in Palm Beach County, the different, the Divine Nine and different ones, they assigned themselves to different elementary schools.
Yes.
But then they reached out to some of us in the church and say, look, hey, will you all also take an elementary school, be there for those kids, welcome them back, high five, pray over them, pray over the school, those type of things. Now, we did those things. What was great about it? They all got together on one accord. We had one thread. So we heard from Alphas, we heard from Sigmas, we heard from Omegas, we heard from every group that was there, but they all was contributing to one thing, impacting those children's lives, letting them see that positive encouragement, and some of us, we went on Saturday, prayed at schools and prayed over schools and classrooms, prayed with principals. And what am I saying? These were men coming together that said, brother, this is not about who gets the credit, and this isn't something new. Think about it. This thing existed even back in the Bible. They were somebody who got the credit, and Paul said, "One planteth, another waters, but God get the increase." And so what I'm saying, whether we're the planter or we're the waterer, let's play a role.
But that has been the hindrance, though. That has been the hindrance. Wondering about who's going to get the credit, who's getting the pat on the back. It doesn't matter, like you said. It's God get the increase, but no, not only that, but the elevation of that next generation, how we touch them, how we raise them, how we teach them. That's what it's about. It don't matter if I come up with the idea. It's about just projecting the idea and making it happen. I don't matter. It don't matter. I'm not looking for that pat on the back. Doc, you don't look for that pat. You just looking for stuff to happen and just, progress. You're looking for progress. You're looking for things to come out and work out for the good. And until we get to that, we once again, you said it, it's time now to maximize this moment. We can't miss the moment.
We can't miss the moment. It is time to think about our children, our boys. One of the things that's been so powerful here is one of the things that we talked about, the parallel that we must work on our boys now. We must work on them. We must teach them from the mistakes that we made. A lot of men, at a certain age, we can admit that we wasn't necessarily taught to be emotionally expressive. As a matter of fact, many times we were told that men don't cry, we don't show emotion and those type things there. And what happened, many times we become introverted inside of expressing good things. And the only thing that we do express is our anger. And so we have to raise a generation of boys that understand that it's all right to emotionally express yourself. It's all right to be able to say that hurt me and know that that's not being weak. See, the problem is when we're taught not to express ourselves as little boys, it shows up in our lives in other ways. So now when I'm in the prisons and I go inside of the prison, I'm dealing with a lot of men who held in things, and only permission they've ever been given to express, the only emotion was anger. So they blew up, they made decisions, they've now been labeled in life, and they have oftentimes taken their life off course. What we have to do is go back and nurture our sons. We have to go back and give them permission that it's all right. Real men do cry, real men do hurt. Real men deserve to be heard. Real men ought to listen. We have to redefine those lessons, because at the end of the day, the next generation is so vitally important. And that is what the mission really is. It's about maximizing that moment, transforming our lives, rebuilding our communities.
So, Doc, we hear it all the time. I'm my brother's keeper. So how can we what's the refining of what being my brother keeper looks like? What does that look like? How can we redefine that of what being my brother's keeper look like? I know we've seen that being my brother keeper in what's the movie New Jack City,
Yeah,
and we see
yeah.
how that turned out. But how can what's the refining of that? What does that look like?
The redefining of that is that we have to be honest with each other. As a men, let's be honest and intentional with each other. Don't confuse loyalty with excusing. Okay.
Mm.
In other words, I can still be your keeper, brother, by also bringing correction to you, man. If I'm seeing you going, wait, man, in other words, we remember this song from back in the day. You're headed for self destruction,
Yeah.
bro. I'm here to reach out to you, bro, because I don't want to see you self destruct. Watch this. You're better than that, man. You're better than that. Your kids deserve better than that. Remember, these are the very things that you did not want happening to you. Man, how can I help you? Let us be there for you. Let's be intentional. Let's be deliberate. Let's be beyond just lip service. Let's be able to make connections. Sometimes we have more connections than AT&T. Hey, but we need to use some connection in order to help one another. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I know a brother here. Hold the brother accountable. That's how you that brother's keeper. Be willing to take him on. Just like we can adopt a school, let's adopt some brothers. Let's adopt some brothers and say, look, this brother's had a hard time. I do this almost on, if you would, unscripted. There are times when people may come my way, they need a job. There are things, they've had some rough patches in their life, but I've had opportunity to watch them. I may not only write a letter for them or write a letter of reference, a recommendation, but depending on if I know someone within the industry, this is my next thing. I'm willing to walk in with you, have a talk with that manager, supervisor. Listen, I explain who I am, how I've observed them, how I've observed this brother, and that I'm just saying I'm willing to vouch for you and let you know that we're standing with them. Sometimes if I got some other brothers from the church, not to be from the church, they could be from a fraternity or whatever. We will stand with them. If you have a problem with him or whatever, listen, reach out to us because we can hold them accountable. Willing to go that step of the way with the brother. Let that brother know that, man, yeah, I know you're a grown man, but keep in mind, just because you grow up, just because you grow old, don't mean that you're grown up.
That you're grown up, yeah. Everybody,
and that's the thing that we have to understand.
Yeah.
Growth is not. Folks think that growth is automatic. Growth, only thing that is automatic is age. Chronologically, you can grow, but doesn't mean that you've grown up. It just simply means that you've grown old. And let me tell you, and I know that age and wisdom should travel together, but you and I both know that sometimes age come all by itself.
Yeah.
And so we have to begin to do some things to be deliberate. I am concerned about my brother.
Yeah.
Bro, I am.
Yeah.
I'm deliberate. How can I be my brother's keeper?
Yeah.
Bro, you're struggling, but I want to encourage you, man. Man, how can I help you?
Right.
Have a real honest conversation. How can I help you, man? What help do you need? And being able to say, now, brother, if we do this is what I want from you. What do you mean this is what you're doing? I want you to be better. You say you want to be better. Let's walk through this process together. Hold him accountable. He may have never had anyone hold him accountable. He may have never felt like anyone ever believed in him enough to believe that he could be accountable. Don't keep rehearsing a person's failure to them. Speak into their life, what their future.
Right. And while doing that, one of the major things that's so important when to me reaching out to a young man or older man or whoever that you see that's in that situation, we have to not when we connect, we have to be consistent.
Yeah. There you go, your word right there.
We have to be consistent in what we do. We can't not be consistent because, like you said, and you said it, Doc, a lot of them are looking for that connection. Or a lot of them are looking for that care or somebody to show that they care and really care. But if you start something, then they don't see you again until another 3 weeks. That's not consistent. It has to be a consistent flow, a consistent action, connection with them until they definitely feel like, hey, this person is genuinely care. But I'm saying I feel we lose that sight of being consistent.
Oh, you hit it right on the head, because I always say this: persistence will get us there. Consistency will keep us there.
Mm-hmm.
That going right back to the brother's book, right? So guess what? The persistence will get us there. But what will help us be sustained and to be able to grow is consistency.
Right.
And that goes back to what? Sometimes discipline. And one of the great quotes by Jim Rohn talks about discipline. And he says, in life, we all experience one or two constant pains: the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The difference is that the pain of discipline weighs ounces, while the pain of regret weighs tons. Because guess what? It's always hard when you start off. Yeah. Boy, when you start off, I'm trying to go to the gym. It's hard when you start off, but when you're consistent with it, it becomes easier and you build it. Problem is, when I neglect it and refuse to be consistent, now I look up 3 years later, I have more ailments. I have more things that I'm dealing with. Now I'm dealing with the what? The pain of regret.
Regrets. Yeah.
So discipline is a big part of it.
Discipline is a big part, and we got to be consistent when we are being active. And I believe I go back to that program that you talked about that you're at now. If they were not consistent, once they got those guys in that program, they would not be successful to do what they're doing now. So that's a sign of them being consistent in what they do. And that's what we have to do, is be consistent. And we can't use excuses anymore about, oh, well, man, they don't want to hear it, or they don't want no help, or that's not true. A lot of times if we're talking about being our brother's keeper, we got to keep at it until sometimes it don't take 1 day, 2 days. It may take a couple of weeks.
Exactly. Because sometimes they don't know what they don't know. And let's think about even those of us that may consider ourselves healthy men. Sometimes healthy men or women, sometimes people have to learn how to receive. They don't know how to receive.
Right.
And sometimes they don't even know how to ask for help. And sometimes people don't know what they don't know. They don't know what they need. So sometimes we have to be a light long enough to them that they can see. We have to be that light long enough to them that they can see. And that's what's so important. And, one of the things I would say is this: for those that feel like you have nothing to offer, I need you to understand that you do have something to offer, but you got to be intentional about what you have to offer. You don't have to be a professional in order to be a help. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. talked about something that was so powerful. He talked about the fact that he said, look here, he talked about the fact that anyone can serve. Serve, be willing to serve your fellow man, your brethren. You don't have to have a degree to serve. You don't even have to necessarily make your subject and your predicate agree in order to serve. But all you got to have is a made up of mind and a heart that is full of love, and you're willing to reach out beyond yourself.
Yeah.
Where can I serve? What can I add to it? And that's what life is about. It's a life of service. It's a life of service. And these type of things, we want to continue to do so. And what I will tell you, even in this month, I'll leave here in Atlanta on Thursday. But I'll tell you, we're right back at it on Saturday. We'll be moderating a Digital Dad Lunch and Learn in Boynton Beach. Digital Dad, talking about in this new era, how do we help navigate being fathers in this digital age where our kids have access to things that we never had access to, when our kids have those other voices that can influence them that we did? How do we come alongside those brothers and help them?
Right.
And then we don't stop there. What do I mean? By the same token, brethren, we are convening with brothers, clergy. How do we get our people equipped to go out and understand their rights inside of voting and why it is more than just go and vote? How do I help you to understand how things affect you? Having those conversations, being involved with it. And then we don't stop there. We are part of engaging men and helping people, period. I received a phone call yesterday. I didn't know who it was from. The brother asked for me and said, listen, I've been given a task to introduce you on Sunday at this event. I said, okay. Then he told me, He said, I want you to know that he says, I am a brother who's on dialysis. I'm waiting on a kidney transplant. I am going through some things. But when they told me to call you, they said that when you told me who you were and what you do, that I would be encouraged. In just a few moments, he asked me to send his bio, and I spoke to him. I just spoke to him basically life. In other words, that this isn't the end. Don't put a period where God may only have a comma. Right. And those are the things. There are little things that you can do to make a difference in a person's life. Speak life. Be there. Extend that olive branch. Be willing to invest in others' lives. Because if we're being honest with ourselves, somebody invested in ours.
Yeah. And wow. Listen, y'all. I told y'all this was going to be impactful and engaging. So Doc, I felt this like 3 weeks ago, and I'm so glad when you reached out to me. I'm like, wow, yeah, man, I'm right on it. When we're talking about, you mentioned about rebuild, rebuild together. And I am so there, because there are some areas to me that I've spoke about a couple of Sundays ago that I feel if we're gonna just not the brothers, but our families get back and rebuild, we need to rebuild. This is the moment, this is the time right here where we really need to me focus on rebuilding. So my thing is it important for us to begin our rebuilding or rebuild our families with faith in God? Do we need to bring that back to get that structure, that foundation, before we can do anything, rebuild anywhere else?
Well, I think it's very important, because our belief system informs everything that we do. What we believe informs everything we do. You know, when we talk about belief system, we talk about belief system where our belief system is formed by what? It is formed by our life experience. It's formed by events that happen in our lives. It's informed by the information of education that we receive. If we adhere to our faith and believe in our faith, then we understand the fact that there's a natural and there's a supernatural. We also understand the fact that our faith shapes our belief system in what we are. That is why we understand, once again, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. There's also understanding the laws that comes inside of faith. When we think about the different irrefutable laws, the law of retribution, the law of reciprocation, there are so many different laws that when we understand, even inside of our faith, that what challenges that I face, I know that it doesn't have to be the end, because there's a promise that there is things that I am going to reap in due season if I faint not. So there's a reward for my perseverance through whatever I go through. And that is the thing about it. If we're going to rebuild, we rebuild, number one, in faith. We rebuild inside of hope. We rebuild understanding with an expected end. We rebuild understanding with the end in mind.
Right. I'm glad you just you hit where I was going. I mean, we got to rebuild, because we know I think it's Psalms 133. God talks about the family being the center of faith, and being the center of His heart, of where He wants us to be. That's the center. So not only do we need to rebuild our family with faith and build our brothers back with the faith with God, but how about us rebuilding our hope for the future? Our hope for the future. How do we go about doing that?
You know what? Some very similar steps. When we start about hope, you said hope for the future. Hope is so very important. Hope is not something that we just wish. Hope is a belief that which we desire will happen. So we build it by taking from one step to the other. We go from from faith to faith and glory to glory. That means the fact that when we see the victory in one area, we know that that we can reach for the next area. And so we have to begin to rebuild that by simply building upon the things that have come to pass. We feel better about ourselves today because of things that we've come through. We've got hope. We've seen one another come from nothing and to arrive at something. We have hope because we've seen impossible odds against us, and we yet overcame. Those are all the foundation for building hope for the future. Then it all begins with this vision. Right. What's our vision? Vision is the ability to perceive destiny. It is standing in the present, but seeing the future. It is standing in the now, but seeing the then. And be intentional about working towards that. Right. Every step that we take, we become just that much closer.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And I mean, to me, that's something that we, not only for our children, our next generation, but even at the state with men, yes, men have lost that vision of hope for the future. It's never too late to have it, but even they have lost that vision for hope, and that's something that we need to focus on as well. Not only that, my thing is, and I believe this one right here is something that I totally believe we need to rebuild again, and that we've lost something. I know second Corinthians 13:13 talks about faith, hope, and love. And yes, I believe we have lost that power of love. How do we go about rebuilding what we need, rebuilding that power of love that I feel? I think we've lost that love in the family, in the community, with our kids, with men, with our women. We've lost that power of love. We don't love like we used to love. We don't have that compassion like we used to go. Where do we go, and how do we start, and where do we start rebuilding that power of love again?
You know where it starts? It's ingrained in two things. Number one, is ingrained in our own humility and our willingness to forgive and be grateful. And when I say be grateful and graceful, showing grace toward one another.
Wow.
See, one of the things that encouraged me as a man, even if you feel that you have limitations, one of the things that drives me, because I want my next generation to be even greater and to exceed where I am. So even if I don't have a drive for myself, I have a drive for them. I have a responsibility. And I have a responsibility to not only dream, but here's the scripture that says, listen, and those that be of thee shall be called the repairers of the breach, meaning where the divide have happened, and the restorers of paths to dwell therein. I understand that I have an assignment, and my assignment here is that I got to be that instrument that is used. And that means that if I need to show love where there's been hate, that's what you do. You got to do so. Because what we understand is that operating in unforgiveness, having long-term memory about disagreements and fallout benefits no one. At the end of the day, the thing that I do know is this, that love conquers all. Right. And the reason why I said it starts with humility is because the things that we have put in place of love, you know what those things have been? Material things. We've allowed ourselves to be defined by things. And what we have let go is love, forgiveness, patience, belief. When last time some people looked at each other and said, I believe in you.
Wow.
I believe in you.
Wow.
And I mean, those are powerful words. I believe in you.
Yeah.
If a woman wants to change a man's whole direction, and he could be striking out. He may have gotten 3 no's when he applied for a job. He may have been turned down 5 times, but something about when she said, baby, I believe in you.
I believe it.
It's going to happen. I believe in you. Brother, you and I both know it is like somebody just gave us a rejuvenation, because there's something about belief that pushes us to another level. And we got to believe in one another again. We got to believe in the power of love, the power of the family. We got to believe inside of that again. We got to believe in that again. And we have to reestablish that. And guess what? That's why we're going back to, we have to maximize this moment. Brothers, it starts with us. I'm not putting it off to the next generation. It starts with us.
Yeah, it surely do. I mean, and the Bible said, I mean, with faith, hope, and love, and the greatest of them is love. Love conquers all. It really can. It really can conquers all.
Absolutely.
You know, not these last 4 years, but the 4 years prior, it was so much hate, and I think we lost so much. We lost the focus of love during that time. But there's a shift happening.
It's happening.
So that's why I so appreciate what you're trying to push at the brothers. This shift that's happening now, this is the time. We cannot miss the moment. We got to maximize this moment while this shift is about to happen.
Exactly right.
We have to be a part of it.
And we do. And I want to look at every brother, and I ask every brother to challenge yourself, even with your other brother, even if you've had a beef with one another. Brother, there are some things, it's not a matter of trying to prove who was right or who was wrong, but being able to admit that, brother, listen, forgive me. I'm wrong. I don't want to continue on with this beef. I don't want to continue on. Brother, let's come together, because we're better together, man. We're better than this.
Yeah.
Let's achieve what others may not could have achieved. Let's be able to forgive one another. Maybe we can work together. But at the end of the day, bro, I'm better when you succeed. You're better when I succeed. And be willing to be that, man. That's what you call being the bigger man. The bigger man understands the prize is not about who's right or wrong. Always. Sometimes, brother, it's about the fact, let's do what's best inside of this. And we all win.
Listen, y'all, this has been the South Florida Live Podcast. It's an evening with the brothers. We're maximize the moment into rebuilding our community. That's what we're talking, brothers. Listen, you heard it from the doctor. We have to come together. We need to do this. We need to unify. We need to come together and join each other and work this thing out for just not, for our next generation. I love the book that Marcus has written. I got to finish reading it, and I do. We have to bridge. We have to work these bridges, get these bridges, clear out these barriers to create bridges to make it better, make it helpful, and connect our next generation. But it starts, like you said, Doc. It starts with us. It starts with us, and it starts now. It starts now. Hey, listen, I told you guys this was going to be informative and engaging every time. There's always that way when the doctor is with us on the South Florida Live Podcast. Hey, Doc, listen, you got something coming up this month that I know you're excited about, and we're going to let you share. Doc got some stuff coming on. Doc, is your birthday coming up, brother?
Oh man, yes. I am. Listen, they're about to expire my 50s card. So I am about to celebrate 60 years of life and 40 years of ministry and public service.
Wow.
They culminate at the same time.
Wow.
That's going to take place. My birthday is actually August 23rd, but the community celebration and birthday, community appreciation birthday celebration is taking place on Saturday, August 24th, down on Riviera Beach, Florida, there from 5:30 to 9:30 p.m. And basically, hey, I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for the appreciation there. And listen, it's going to be an incredible event. It's a semi-formal event. It's going to be tributes. It's going to be music, laughter, dance, games. We even gonna give away some prizes at that. And we just saying, come be with us. Yes, it's a cover charge, but it's worth it. You're gonna be in a great atmosphere
Yeah.
Great food there. And I think the information is there, even on the flyer there. That's a great way to do it right there. You can Zelle it at manofpurpose2000 at gmail.com, or you can cash app at $ Dr. J.R. Thicklin, THICKLIN. Either way go, it's just a $65 cover charge. And listen, even if you said I can't make it, if you say, look, I would love to be there, you can't make it, look, considering just being a blessing, consider being a blessing. You know that I stand and I fight for many different causes, many causes. And whatever happens is going to always go into contributing to those causes to make a difference in the lives of others. So it's a very informative time. And I've asked my brother, Jeffrey K. Brown, to come and be one of my co-MCs. I want him to be a part of that because, listen, I love this brother's spirit. I love what he does. I love how he reaches the community. And I just want him to be a part of that celebration with me. So, hey, if you love me, if you love Jeffrey, I mean, that's enough time. That's enough right there. You ought to make it your business to be a part of it.
That's it right there. Listen, yeah, I mean, he asked me be co-host, MC. I'm like, woo, dude, no, man, not me. I'm behind this mic and I'm good with that. Hey, but it's going to be a great time. I can't wait. That's August the 24th. On that Saturday starts at 5:30
Yes.
to 9:30, Riviera Beach City Marina. That's 200 East 13th Street, Riviera Beach. You don't want to miss it. $65. Come on, guys. This man has done so much. He's put himself out there. He's always helping everyone. He's always encouraging. He's such an encourager. So let's encourage him. Let's celebrate with him. I think you can scan the code there to do what you have to do as Cash App, and I think the other one you can scan that one. So hey, let's do it. 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 And what's the RSVP about? Hey, that's the day.
It's actually the RSVP is by tomorrow. It's by
tomorrow. I'm sorry, tomorrow. Yeah, the 14th.
But I'm going to take a chance to get in trouble with the committee and say that listen, we're gonna give you till Saturday. But after that, I'm gonna be in a lot of trouble. So let's make it happen now.
Okay, we're gonna make it happen. There it is. You got it. Once again, you are cordially invited to join us for a celebration honoring the man of purpose, Dr. J.L. Thicklin, for his 60th birthday. Welcome to the 60 Club, brother. Welcome to the 60 Club. 40 years of service and ministry. To God be the glory, man. To God be the glory. That's going to be great. So you guys, once again, I'm going to be showing this even on tomorrow. I'll flash this on tomorrow. For those that missed it tonight, I'm going to flash it again tomorrow. And I'm going to flash it again on Thursday. And I'm going to flash it again next week. So, hey, come on up. Riviera is not that far. It's not that far. Join us. I'm excited. I'm excited to be a part of it. Thank you for inviting me to be a part. It's going to be a wonderful time. Once again, there it is right there. That's a code that you guys can scan. Don't mess around. I'm going to leave it up for a second. And let's bless this brother. Let's bless him because he's been such a blessing to everyone, and with me. Been a blessing to me every time he come here. I appreciate him so much for coming and being a part. I wanted to do this. He asked, and I said yes. He knows that's how I go. He knows that's how I go. He asked, I say yes. So and that's where it's going to be. That's how it's going to be. Hey, Doc, once again, man, thank you so much. We're going to keep pushing this, Doc. This is not the last time we're talk about it. We're going to keep pushing this. We're going to keep talking about maximize the moment, brothers maximizing this moment. We got to do another evening with the brothers real soon. So y'all stay tuned to that. We'll be doing that real soon. Oh, there you go. So stay tuned. We'll be doing it again. How about that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Looking forward to it. Thanks so very much.
Hey man, stay safe in the ATL. Have a wonderful time. Stay safe. So the conference is all this week.
The conference ends Thursday, but some powerful things that are happening. Some things that we definitely have been doing, but some things that we've looked at some other ways of doing it, bringing back to South Florida and some other areas there, because we can do this. We are our brother's keepers.
Yes, we are. And we'll continue to be that. All right. God bless you. God keep you, my brother. Thank you again for joining us. Thank you for this time. Thank you for sharing with us. Be safe, and we're praying for you. Hey, listen, you've been locked into the South Florida Live podcast. I'm your host, Jeffrey Brown. And y'all, thank you for coming, being a part and sharing with us on this evening. Those that have been viewing, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You see in the comment section all the information. That's his Zelle. That's the Cash App that you guys can Zelle. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. That's his Zelle. That's his Zelle information, Let's bless this man of God. Let's bless this great man, this powerful man, because he's done so much. He's doing a lot of things, guys. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's help him out. Yes, ma'am. I agree, Ms. Wendy. I agree. All right. Hey, once again, if you want to be a supporter of this podcast, that's our information down at the bottom. If you choose to, I appreciate it. We're trying to do some things. We're trying to upgrade our system. So that's our Cash App, Power of Glory, $ Power of Glory 777. $ Power of Glory 777, and our Zelle is Jeffrey Brown 2094 at Gmail, JEFFERY Brown at 2094 at gmail.com. So we thank you. We appreciate you guys for joining us on this evening. And as I always say, I'll pray for you. You pray for me. And we're going to watch God change things. God bless you.
Email your idea for show topics to the South Florida Live Show at gmail.com. Thank you for tuning in to South Florida Live with your host, Jeffrey Brown.